What goes through a 2000 ELO player's head? Well, today I'm going to show you. I played a game yesterday. It was the game after, like 2 days or 3 days later, after I hit 2000 ELO. I was kind of scared because I thought, oh, I'm not going to be 2000 ELO, but I'll show you the game and how I went on to have a nice little win. But when you play 2000s, you kind of feel intimidated. And, just hitting the mark is a goal in and of itself, but beating 2000 rated players consistently is tough. And yeah, I'll show you the game we played. This is my opponent, Rafael Dominguez from Mexico, and he's 2024. That's his rating. I know, what a coincidence. 2024 in 2024. And Rafael plays e4. And, as a, Levy, Roseman, Gotham chess lover, I'm a fan of the Caro Kann. And so we play, theory. And in this, tight-knit structure, your idea is to break out with c5. And so I do it early. He gives a check, and I challenge the bishop, and we exchange the knight and the bishop. And as we continue to go on, I play queen to b6 and bishop to e7. This is all normal stuff. This is all opening, prep and knowledge, and kind of just basic ideas of how you play the opening. But after my opponent does knight to b to d2, sometimes you get worried, and you realize, oh no, I can't develop pieces. Number one, I don't want to develop long. If I do, I'm just weakening my entire position, and this is just a better place to go. Being too aggressive right off the bat is not smart in the Caro Kann. There's certain times you can castle long, but that's for, another video. And I really didn't like knight to h6. And the reason why is because after takes, wow, amazing with the arrows. After takes, of course, you do not want a ruined, structure where you're planning the castle. But after takes, he does lose sight of this pawn, and I can just bring my bishop back to kind of like safeguard these pawns, and then bring out my other bishop and just try and attack. Like, let's say the knight's not there covering that space, bringing the bishop and having this huge line of attack. I was like, you know what? Looking at it for the future, it doesn't look too bad. So, spent some time. I spent actually 30 seconds to play knight h6. Computer, dabbles. He plays h3, planning to attack with g4. That's not a problem. So, I castle and I ignore it. And he plays c4 now. And looking at him playing c4, yes, he wants to expand this now prominent white structure. But I realized, I was like, wait a minute. This pawn used to be defended by 1, 2, 3 pieces. Now it's only 2. And, let's say I can exchange. I like the exchange. Because after, let's say he takes with the knight, I bring bishop to c5. And I look great. And sometimes when it comes to pawn structures, your opponents sometimes may put these advantageous pawn moves to try and complicate things. Like, nobody below 2000 or below 1500 for sure likes to deal with these crazy pawn structures that are attacking each other. And sometimes they don't like calculating. And so, sometimes they take with the wrong piece. So as a 2000, you have to calculate different variations, especially when it comes to massive fights in the middle of the board. And so I realized, okay, my late squares are more stronger than my dark squares. Why not take the dark squared pawn? And computer suggests to consider to have an advantage is to take with the knight to threaten his bishop. But now my opponent goes off a leeway and plays bishop. First takes knight. I attack. And then plays bishop takes h6. And I realized, I was like, what? This move was super, super weird. And the reason why is because he took the most inactive piece in the position. Just so you know, his bishop controls so much. And so does his knight. But taking the weakest piece in the position only to lose the best piece in your position, it just didn't make sense. For first me, I was like, why would you take the weakest piece in the position? Sometimes we have blind spots, and sometimes we think differently. But for me, I realized this move is terrible. He just gave me a favor, and so I capitalized. I said, okay, I'll take your knight. Your knight was the most powerful piece. It was attacking this. It could have gone here. It could have gone here, like here, and done some damage. So now he goes back, and I'm like, wait, I'm good. So rook c8, right? Rook c8. This is the file I want. In all Caro Kann's, rook to c8, and controlling the queen side as much as possible. That is the idea. So I'm like, okay, stick to the plan. I know we are good. And he played rook to c1, and I'm like, this is the bad move. This is the bad move. Now pause the video. I want to see if you can find the winning move, because I'll give you a couple seconds, because I realized that rook is just a decoy, because there's another piece I can activate that will become more powerful. In usually positional style chess, learning to find the weak pieces and making them more powerful is your best bet, especially to get to the rating I am now. This was huge. When I turned on the mindset of take the weakest pieces in your game and make them your strongest, helps significantly. So in this position, I played bishop to a3. Now it's attacked both ways. Let's say you go back, bishop to b2, and the rook is trapped. So he just left the rook. He played queen here, takes, and I played rook to c5. I said, nuh-uh, even if you take, I'm still controlling. I want to bring my other rook into the game too. Computer hates it, but I loved it. He plays here, rook's connected. Wonderful. Now we just follow with the game plan. I push my pawn. This is the only pawn that is supported by two pieces. Not just two pieces, it is a powerful pawn. It's a powerful pass pawn, actually. And so now he tries to counterattack. But guess what? That doesn't work. Now this bishop controls more, and it's more safe. Unless you go, h4, h5 and trap it. But most likely, h6, coming your way. And then he plays knight to c4. And I'm like, okay, good move getting tempo on my queen. But there's an even worse and more potent move that I found in this position. And that is pawn to d2, counter-attacking the rook and leaving the queen to die. And I'm like, yeah, you could take. Go ahead. Take my queen for free. I get check. And believe it or not, you're going to get hit with this. I'm bringing my other rook. Yeah, go ahead. Take my other rook. I'm going to go and mate you. That was the idea. But of course, he defends. And I bring my queen out of danger. He brings his queen to, attack the piece. And I said, nuh-uh. I ain't allowing that. Now I can use diagonals and horizontals to my advantage. And he gets out, and I bring my queen in, and I'm like, this is killer. This is absolutely killer. I'm going to destroy him. So, take some pieces, get things off the board, and I'm like, okay, great. Give him a couple checks. Make sure I don't get mated, So I bring my rook back, or lose my rook as well. Don't lose your rook. So I bring my rook back. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you a crazy series of events. His king is so exposed. So what do? Check him. And I keep checking him. And now it's like mate in 16. But of course, I'm not going to find mate in 16, right? Well, guess what? I'm going to find mate, and so however moves. Oh, his king's safe, right? Psych! Bishop first. Sorry. Getting ahead of myself. Pawn h6. Check. And now, bishop to d3. Now I'm lining up a mating net. He goes the only move, check. Can't do it, can't take because he's in check. So he moves. And ladies and gentlemen, I give him another move. I'm threatening mate still. What does he do? He runs his king down the board. This looks safe, right? No. There's the most disgusting move in this game that I realized, wait a minute. It's over. If you go queen here, it's not mate. He covers. And if you try to check, he just takes your pawn, and that king is safe forever. It's actually a draw. I looked at the positions through the computer. It's a draw. But there's a move so bad. It was so nasty. I couldn't believe it. And I let the rook to die. Because if you take, it's mate. Because your line of attack is over. He plays the only move to save the position. Check. And then I played bishop to e2. And the game is over. This mate is inevitable. And that's how I won. Sometimes you figure out things and you realize, wait, I can take advantage of certain things. And usually, as you get better, you start to see things from a mile away. Vision is huge. If we go back, especially this move that he made up with the king, this bishop to find mate is pretty unorthodox for anybody below 1500. But it's good to see things when, you know, you're higher rated. If you are wanting to get to higher rating, the best things are learn your vision, learn your tactics, learn your puzzles, and actually learn about like pawn space, pawn tactics, and getting center control of the board. These are huge. Like if we go back to the middle game was probably the most important part, especially around this part, like finding tactics like this, and then learning to control all that space. Now the queen's limited, right? So as you get into, you know, higher and stronger territory, it's best to focus on these things. And so, you know, even though I got 2 brilliants this game, I encourage everyone who watched this video to really open your toolbox to not just tactics and openings. Because yes, those are good, but vision is important. Learning to, you know, be flexible with your position as well. For example, you know how I double my pawns, right? I had the idea to, you know, safeguard my 2 weaknesses and kind of make, like, you know, a plan. And I feel like these have helped me get to where I am. And so today I showed you a game, but I hope these help. And yeah, if you have any questions, please leave in the comments. We'll see you in another video.